Hi, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Neighborhood News, Tuesday night.
It's Tuesday night and we're back for one more show of your Neighborhood News. If you're just watching us now, it's a new show. But if it's not a Tuesday, it's because you're watching a repeat show. Please tune in again Tuesday at 7:30, Channel 95, for the new show.
It is Channel 95, I know.
Channel 95, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. We're going to start, before we introduce our guest today, I would just like to mention a couple of things that we're going to, I don't know if Niagara have anything to announce.
No, it's been pretty quiet.
Nice, just waiting for the holidays, right?
That's it, that's it.
Waiting for the turkey first. And,
well, actually, I can announce something after you're done, but why don't you go first?
Okay. So
this kind of leads into our guest after this.
Okay. The our neighborhood are doing casino trip November 9th. We'll be leaving Pleasant and Cash Streets, corner of Pleasant and Cash Streets, at 12 o'clock. The tickets are $25. A buffet is included.
Wow, that's cheap.
And we play bingo at the bus.
Yep.
Then we're going to have, I want to remind people, December 6th, we have the Children's Parade downtown.
Okay.
December the 6th. It's good that we start remembering people about it.
Yep.
December 7th, it's the Sunday. We're having a bus trip to New York for the Christmas shopping. It's $55, and the bus will be leaving Pleasant Street and Cash Street. We like that location because people leave the cars at the Cash Street parking lot, the municipal parking lot. Then we have the 18th. We have the events from Dave Dennis that was with us last week.
Yep.
It's going to be the 18th, December 18th, downtown. And then
your Christmas show, right? And
then we have the 14th. We have our Christmas show at Borden School.
Yeah, cool.
Our second year, which again another event that the kids have a really good time singing.
Yeah, so Watson's involved again, right?
Yes, okay. Watson and Fonseca and pretty much all the schools that were involved last year, they will be involved because they really liked it. And I'm going to do the same way that we did. We will have guests introducing the numbers.
Oh,
so this
cool.
way, it's one person don't have to commit 3 hours to be there.
Yeah.
For 3 hours, can come in, just introduce the number and leave. If have any other thing to do.
Good.
If not, can just sit and watch the show.
Cool.
So that's what we're having our agenda until the year ends. And the Niagara, you want to
we just had actually the second thing is going to lead into our guests, but the first thing is we had got 30 banners, and the first 30 banners were donated by an individual that wants to be anonymous. I don't even know who it is, so I thought that was great. But we purchased 15 banners due to a city grant. And that was really cool. And the last 15 got put up last week, which was really nice. So check them out around Brayton Avenue, Stafford Road, Plymouth Ave.
Did the same print, right?
Yeah, and it's exactly the same print. Okay. So I think, and it was amazing. Some folks, we put them on main roads, but then there are some side streets that we put them in front of their house, some of the members, and they're all totally great. It looks great. Some aesthetic improvement. So I think that's a great thing. So. Thanks to the city for that, for working that, and that kind of leads into our guests. But one other thing is I know there was some renovations in different parks. Pulaski Park just got their basketball courts, so that was really cool. I know there was construction started on it, so that was really nice to see. I went down there and talked to one of the individuals that was working on it. So that leads into our guest, Mike Dion, who was involved with that. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Yep, Mike Dion is the CDA director the director of CDA, which is the Community Development Agency.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure with federal government we have all these acronyms. And I'm like kind of, all right, it sounds like it's that, and sometimes it's administration, not agency. So, all right, so that's good. But so Mike, you've been pretty busy with these different projects, right?
Very busy, John. First, I want to thank you and Carlos for having me on this evening. I'd like to take every opportunity to come out and talk about the programs to let people be aware of what community development is and what we do.
Yep.
You brought up your banners. My office, about 6 or 7 months ago, applied for a Cities of Service grant with the Bloomberg Foundation. We were able to get some money for mini grants towards the neighborhood associations. We donated, I believe, $2,000 to each neighborhood association that applied for you to have, for some purchase of some banners, and also to have some fun days. It was a great grant, a grant that didn't have a lot of federal regulations attached to it, which is very nice. I deal a lot with federal regulations. We at Community Development have made a real commitment to improving the neighborhoods, and one of the aspects of that is working in our parks to do new park projects. In terms of Pulaski Park, last year we did a new playground with some new benches. This year we're doing the basketball court. We've taken on a big project in Chew Field. We partnered with Youth Build, the Youth Build organization in the city, to do painting, do park improvements on the baseball field. We just spent over $100,000 on new lights for the baseball field at Chew Park, put in a new sidewalk into Chew, and also did a new playground last year, and doing the basketball courts also this year.
And they got a pavilion too, were there, right? Wasn't there some kind of, because it looks like that's going to happen at some of them? Or?
We haven't done the pavilion yet.
Okay.
There's some questions. I'm working with Ken Pacheco from the city to determine if that pavilion will be kept up, or if it will be taken down, or if a new one will be put up. So we're still working on that. Right now, we kind of got our hands full. We're not only doing the basketball courts at Pulaski, the basketball courts at Chew, we're also doing the basketball courts at Turner Park. Turner has been a park that has been neglected over the years, so we're doing a new basketball court there, putting new park benches in, removing some brush, and we just purchased a new playground for them through the Cities of Service grant. There was a small remainder of funding, and volunteers are going to put up that playground.
Wow.
So we also did work in Ruggles Park last year with a new playground, and also the Maplewood Park, we put a new playground in, and we're working now on some playgrounds down at Abbott Court. So we got our hands full. The park department works very well with the Community Development Agency, and it's something that is important to us. We do a lot of service-oriented projects at Community Development. They're great projects, CD-REC, the running 3 Council on Aging programs, the Walking Beat Police program. But it's really nice when you see infrastructure projects being done. You see hardcore projects that are getting done, and you see what your money's going for. It's nice.
Yeah. We have some background noise, so if that's why you might not have heard Mike. Could we get the control room just to shut the door here? Because there's a lot of background noise there. Sorry.
No problem.
Taped on live TV, right?
Yes.
But
So,
Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you. Go ahead.
And hearing you talking about all these parks that you mentioned, I'm happy that I did the Quikasham, because I guess was not on that list.
Correct. What we've been doing is we've been following the master plan for the city, and there's not duplication of services, but my money, the Community Development Agency money, has to be spent in low-income areas of the city, and I know your area does qualify. But what we do is try to work in unison with the city grant writer, with the planning department, with the community maintenance people, and we go out and apply for different grants. So there's some grants where they use community development money as matching funds towards the grant because it's required. So I know there's projects that are going forward in other parks that our money is being used for matching funds. But I have to commend you, Carlos. You've done a wonderful job fighting for your neighborhood association and getting the funding to redo that park. I mean, there's been some great things that are happening in your area, and same thing with you, John. You guys are two dedicated individuals. And I truly love working with you guys because you're the best.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. But the good thing is we are running out of parks to fix.
No, I don't. That's not going to happen, Mike. There's
Never.
no way that's going to happen.
Never.
No?
There's always something
Yeah,
that's
there's-
needed.
Yeah.
What I see a lot happening is you put a new playground in. It's an attraction. You know, some people in the city don't have the money to go on that family vacation in the summer, so that, you know, they go to the parks and they use them. I know Pulaski. Pulaski had an older playground, and now it's just an attraction. And what happens is, as time goes on, you know, 2 or 3 years down the road, those playgrounds are going to need updating, and in things of a new swing, a new slide, you know, all kinds of different equipment that needs to be replaced.
Yeah, because you'll see when our park, basically the playground equipment, I think you'll see at least 5 or 6 kids at a time, and sometimes there's 20 or 30 kids in that area at times. And it was nice to see once that was done, because you saw parents, and you still see parents there with their kids coming out. So
No,
yeah,
all
so
our
you're right. It's
parks-
always just maintenance. You're right. There's always going to be maintenance issue.
All our parks are utilized.
Oh,
We don't
definitely.
have one park that we don't drive by, that we don't see people there.
Yeah.
So all our parks are being used, which good, because the perfect example of Quequechan, that park, the only part of that park that was used was the basketball.
And the
The
soccer
back,
fields.
the back of the park, nobody was using it. So that's what we used to fund all the stuff there, all
Yeah.
the bags and all the stuff. And now I ask the neighbors, how the park doing? Great. So people are utilizing the whole park.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I remember growing up at Lafayette Park. I lived in that area, and I played baseball in the Twilight League for Sneaker McDonald. And I remember the lights, playing under the lights. And we had the opportunity this year, I didn't bring it up before, to replace those lights. Those lights probably haven't been replaced in years. So there's a lot of things that are happening that are very positive in the parks. One of the things growing up also, I used the basketball courts all the time. And it's amazing, I drive by Highland Park. Now, none of community development's money went into Highland Park, but I see how many kids are using those basketball courts. And I can imagine how many people are going to be using Pulaski's basketball courts. I mean, when you look at what was out there, it was in deplorable condition. You had a lot of safety hazards in the parks. The basketball courts had ruts in them, they had potholes in them, they had cracks in them, very just unsafe.
Yes.
You know, we've put in new backboards, new nets. It's really, really a transformation on some of these parks. And what happens is you know, we'll do Pulaski over these last 2-3 years, and then we'll move our focus onto Turner Park, and then we'll move our focus. There's never enough money in the budget
Yeah.
to do the parks the way you want to do them in terms of upkeep and moving to the next one. So we try to do our best, and I think we're very successful at it.
No, I think you guys are, and that's why we wanted you to have you on the show, to let you know that, to let people know that this stuff doesn't just happen. You know, there's someone behind the scenes that is doing this and working with all the departments to get this accomplished. So,
Well, it's a real, I mean, I really have to say, it's a real collaborative.
yeah.
In the past, when I dealt with the park department, it was my office dealing with the park department. We didn't deal with neighborhood associations. Now that those are there's 17, I believe now, or 19 neighborhood associations, I get to talk to you, Carlos. I know what your needs are. I know what John's needs are in his neighborhood. And you come to us, you know, and I bring it to the administration and say, hey, you know, we need more police presence in this area. you know, working together, I think we've made neighborhoods a lot safer and a lot more user-friendly. So I think
No, I agree.
it's a kudos to you,
No,
just as much as to the government. We
yeah.
can't do it alone. The Community Development Agency can't do it alone. And we really, I really appreciate what you guys do.
And
Well, you know, and just to tap on what you're just talking about with the police, it was interesting because, you know how you see these reports, and there's one that's going around now on the internet. Fall River's the 4th most dangerous city in Massachusetts, and then you'll see that, you know, it's somebody else. But there's one report that comes out every year. It's called Neighborhood Scout, and I think 2012 we were like the number 30th or 40th dangerous city in Massachusetts. And with this whole, I believe the community policing, which you guys fund through CDA, it's improved. And I thought the last report I saw that we were like number 78. Right? So it's gone up. And I know people are going to say, well, we're still on there, but you know, there's progress. It started at this point, and it shows that there's progress moving up. And I think within the next year or two, we probably won't even be on that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give kudos to Mayor Flanagan. When he first came on in his first term, we had 3 walking beat police officers walking the neighborhoods. We increased that from 3 to 7. Those neighborhood policing are attending your meetings to let you know what problem properties are out there. The other thing that we've brought into the mix is the Building Blocks program, going out and looking at properties, being proactive instead of reactive, and listening to the neighborhood associations, going out and finding out what properties are nuisance properties in the area, which ones are having drug trafficking, which ones are having prostitution tracking, which ones are having problems with landlords, how many times is minimum housing going to the house, how many times is the police and the fire department going to the house. And what we've done is we've created a heat map, and we've taken that map and actually, based on data, can tell you which properties in your neighborhoods are having the most problem, are the nuisances. And we can target those properties. And what we've been doing is targeting 3 a month, going in and doing inspections with the police department, with minimum housing, with code enforcement, and putting landlords' feet to the fire, telling them, hey, you know, we want respectable properties run in the city. And I know, Carlos, you've done a wonderful job with you know, buying cameras for your neighborhood association and being proactive with the police. And I think it's made a big difference.
yes, yes.
You know,
I have to say that the truth is they move around, you know, and they move around. The drugs, any problem, they move around because they see if the police is there. Now they move to a different location. You know, so we're never going to be able to catch everybody.
Correct.
But as long as we keep the eye open and they keep moving around, at least give a break to the people that live on that area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, eventually, and I think the point probably, Carlos, is if every neighborhood does that, then the problem isn't going to be in Fall River anymore.
Exactly.
They're going to have
Correct.
to move, move forward. So.
And again, the more you walk the streets, the more you use the parks,
Yeah.
the less places they have to hide.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's what we need to do.
It's-
Because now is, you know, and it's funny that you said, Mike, about the police coming to the neighborhood meetings, because sometimes they say people call the police on us. We're not on a cruiser, we are in our cars, you know, and we are looking something, and we got calls
You've had
saying,
that?
you know, it's a...
I never had that in our neighborhood.
I had that.
What are
I
you
had
playing cop now or what?
Yeah, I mean, our cops are on the cover, you know, trying to catch somebody. But a neighbor sees this strange car parked for 2 hours in here. So they call the police, and the officer gets the call. So, you know, somebody's saying that you're there for too long.
It all comes down to being proactive instead of reactive. You know, and the programs that community development are in charge of and administer in the city with nonprofit agencies are proactive, not reactive. We see what the needs are. We write an annual plan every year. Every 5 years, I do a consolidated plan. We survey the residents of the city what are the needs, and we listen to the residents. And I can tell you right now, we're in the process of doing our comp plan. We've done our surveys, and neighborhood policing is one of the #1 priorities with the residents of the city.
Okay. I was going to, because I know we did that survey, or a lot of people did that survey. What were the next couple numbers?
The #1 priority on the survey was job creation, job retention, economic development. That was #1. Okay. #2 is the walk and beat. Well, I call it the LMI neighborhood policing program. Then homeless shelters and homeless programs are also very high. But what you have to understand is we have separate funding programs. We have dedicated funding to homeless. So, and we also have the dedicated CDBG grant that does your park improvements. So the needs of the homeless are met by a totally different grant than the CDBG grant. So even though it was marked high, we have a grant specifically for that.
Yeah.
So Council on Aging, senior services, recreational programs for the youth. In terms of public facility, exactly what you're trying to do with your not trying, what you've been doing with the DeVol School, public facilities in terms of neighborhood centers. People want educational programs. Stuff like that.
I was hoping the home ownership was in there somewhere.
Home ownership under the home program is rated as a very high priority. Like I said, we fund our housing programs from a dedicated grant called the CD Home Investment Partnership Program. It's totally separate from the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Okay. And you know, kind of leading into that, Mike, there's a new program that was just announced in the city about home ownership. Could you just spend a couple minutes and talk about that? Just a quick review. We don't have
quick review, no problem.
I could
talk hours about this.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, the Community Development Agency has always had housing programs in the city. Those housing programs are dedicated to low-income individuals in the city. People earning 80% or below of the area median income, which is a family of 4, about $55,000 for a family of 4. Okay. Which the programs run great. First-time home buyer program, $10,000 grant that's given, no payback, don't have to pay the loan back after 5 years as long as you keep the house your primary residence. We have a rehab program for homeowners and also investors. 3 great programs that we've been running for several years. The mayor tasked me recently, about 6 months ago, and the neighborhood program, Perry Long and Ralph Rowe in my office, with coming up with a program designed for the middle class. And what we came up with was a program called Buy Fall River Now. And you can go on the website. It's called www.buyfallrivernow.com. And it'll give you all the information you need concerning what we currently have for the low income and also for the middle class. One of the programs that is an excellent program is called the Buy Fall River program. And it's a program where we partnered with Mass Housing and also local lending institutions. Bank 5, Bay Coast Bank, Mechanics Cooperative, St. Anne's Credit Union, First Citizens Credit Union. I might have missed one. I'm sorry if I did.
There's plenty of banks, though.
But there's about 7 or 8 neighborhood banks that we've partnered with. And the individual who's looking for a home would contact those banks, and those banks have the Buy Fall River loan application, which gives you a low interest rate, gives you a 30-year fixed mortgage for anybody earning up to $95,000 a year. In terms of family income. So as you could see, the annual income is raised completely a lot higher, which is a great thing to target the middle class. One of the nice things about the program is that it comes with private mortgage insurance that is free. You don't pay the private mortgage insurance.
That's good.
It gives you 6 months worth of private mortgage insurance if you become unemployed, and also for a total benefit of about $12,000, I want to say, $2,000 a month, that can be used within the first 10 years of the loan, which is great. I mean, private mortgage insurance at some point sometimes costs anywhere from $100 to $200 per month. on a mortgage until you build up enough equity in the house, and you can discontinue that product. So this is something that goes with the loan, which is an excellent product. And then we also came out with a new program called Home for the Brave, and it's specifically set for people who are veterans, who also families of veterans, and soldiers that were killed in duty. It's basically something that just looks like the Buy Fall River program, low interest rates up to that $95,000 income level. Again, you get the free private mortgage insurance. Two great programs. So what we've done is we've taken all of the programs at Community Development in terms of housing and put them under one umbrella called Buy Fall River Now.
Yeah, no, it sounds cool. So as far as the $12,000, is that the mortgage insurance or the homeowner's insurance program?
It's private mortgage insurance. You have up to, PMI, you have up to 6 months, $2,000 a month. So at some point within that first 10 years of owning your home, if you become unemployed, you get 6 months worth of protection on the loan.
Okay.
Which is an excellent.
So they would pay the whole mortgage then for those 6 months?
Correct, for the whole 6 months.
Wow.
You can also, if a family qualifies for the Buy Fall River program and also qualifies for the first down payment assistance, you can match them.
Yeah.
So it really works. It really works well.
So the first-time homeowner, what is it? A $12,000 down payment is?
No, the first-time home buyer program is 6% or $10,000, whichever is greater. So if you're buying a $200,000 home, you'd get 6%, $12,000. If you're buying something smaller than that, you get $10,000. What you're getting is a 1% loan, which you make no payments on. After you're in the house for your primary residence for 5 years, that loan gets written off as a grant, and you don't make any repayments on it.
Wow. So that's great. You're sure to have some equity in there after the 5 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's nice about it is I hear a lot of negative stuff about Fall River. A lot.
Yeah.
And this program, this first-time home buyer program, is awesome. I have people coming in from Westport, Swansea, Somerset, Bristol, Rhode Island, Tiverton, Rhode Island, to buy their first home in Fall River. There's great opportunities. Fall River is a great place to raise a family and to buy a home. It's excellent.
Yeah, it's funny because my neighbor next door to me, they were there for long. I've been in my house for 20 years. They were there for 25, and their house sold within 2 weeks. I was amazed, because we know how the market's been in the past, but within 2 weeks that sold. So it's.
I know somebody currently that just put their house on the market last Saturday and already has 2 offers on the property.
Yeah.
3-family property on President Avenue, very nice house. So my understanding is that there's not much inventory in the market.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of competition, and the Community Development Agency is there to help you afford that first home. And then it doesn't stop there. I mean, later on, down the road, you might need rehab for that house. You might need the new roof. You might need the vinyl siding. You come into the Community Development Agency, we have a 1% loan for that. And we structure that for 20 to 25 years. And you do pay that one back. But it's an excellent program. I have some elderly that have owned their home for 40, 50 years and are having trouble with the economy and making do, and they need a new roof on their house. They come in. Everybody is treated equally. There are some restrictions on the money, and there are some qualifications that need to be met. Paul Tebow in my office is a great loan originator. Has been working with us for about 11 years, knows his stuff. It's great. I mean, call Community Development. Like I said, we're on the 4th floor of Government Center. We're there to help. That's what the agency is there for. The agency is there to help.
Okay, I guess that means we come to an end.
I believe so.
That was quick. See, Mike? Well, Mike, thanks a lot. You gave a lot of information, and we appreciate your help.
I thank you. I thank John and Carlos. And like I said, it's great to be on shows like this because I love to get the word out. So thank you for having me.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.